So I see you've donned your sunglasses here.
Yeah, brother.
I thought
Yeah,
I'd
you
bring out
know it.
mine.
Oh, what do you got?
I never had the intention of collecting sunglasses, but
No one ever does. It just kind of happens, brother. Then you
somehow
become a man of the shed.
I have an entire I have an entire drawer in my closet full of random goofy ass glasses. So I thought I'd do some modeling here for all to see. These are kind of my go-to. I quite like the round glasses. Oh, this is gonna be
Yeah,
hard with
very
the headphones in.
stylish. Ooh.
I have these white ones that feel like the cheapest plastic I've ever felt. I think this may have been for the QQC prologue.
Wait, isn't there an image of you with like it says comment section underneath that are Channel
Yeah,
9 just sent to the group
yeah.
chat? Are those the same glasses from that?
I don't, I don't know.
Shit.
My brother just gave me these. These are like, they're not prescription. They're like for filtering out that blue light,
Nice.
so you can go to sleep. I always
Those
wonder
are the
what I
best
look like
ones.
with glasses. I don't, I don't mind that, but I think I do look a bit like a Noid. So
this guy, this guy's reading fucking books over here. Hey,
I
hey,
would
Mr.
never.
Bookman.
And then in New Orleans, I kept these bad boys.
Oh yeah.
They're just kind of rectangular. I can't imagine they do an awful lot to shield you from the sun. These black ones, these are another really cheap pair. I don't know where I got those. I think I got this in Milwaukee. There's like a little shop. I kind of like these actually.
Yeah, those aren't bad. You know, Milwaukee,
Feel good
they're of
quality.
course known for their sunglasses,
Are
obviously.
they?
Yeah, that's one thing about Milwaukee I know.
I have for the St. Patty's look, you know. And lastly, I have if you really want to filter out all that blue light and really get that melatonin producing in time for bed, you gotta put these on.
Fucking pink ass Jordy LaForge looking motherfucker. Goddamn Barbie ass fucking next gen motherfucker.
I think I'm going with these. I think these are the move for this podcast.
That's
And
the right choice. Yeah.
well, roll intro. Hopefully, I was just telling Jimmy. Hopefully, for this episode, we won't even need to bring it into Premiere. It's just all
Yeah.
done in OBS, baby.
That's the dream. We're doing this shit live, you know? We're not streaming it live, but
Yeah.
fucking the I call him the keyboard whiz, Nunican himself. He fucking you came up with a way. How'd you do it?
I just, hyper fixated on it one night. And it was just like,
Yeah, because what was the setup we had before? Both of us had OBS open. Both
yeah,
of us
we can get into
record
the inside
individually.
baseball here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
come on, full access. Let's go.
behind the scenes at the QQC pod, you see what we did is we had, because I'm a big guy of like quality. I like to make sure that we got a safe amount of recordings. Like everyone has recorded their own stuff, and then they send it over, and then I have the highest quality files to work with when I go to edit. And then I actually tried to edit a few episodes of the podcast, and I was like,
And it's unbearable to listen to us talk for more than 5 minutes, so so Noonie quickly had to figure out.
Yeah, the
Fucking.
podcast. It was so bad that I couldn't sit through it. I tell you. No, it's just to do that for every episode is just. I don't know how people do it. I think that's why people hire other people to edit podcasts.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
even if it's
we gotta get an
interesting to
intern.
you, yeah. This way, we don't need to. The computer is the intern.
We're efficient. We're running it. We're doing it live. This is the I mean, Noonie's doing all the work. Literally, I don't even have OBS open. I'm in a Discord call. I just had to like show up. I didn't have to set up my lights because this is just how my apartment looks all the time because I'm a fucking weirdo. But like, yeah, sunglasses indoors. That's not a bit. This is not a bit. This is just what I do.
Yeah,
This
I
is the
can
kind of
attest
guy
that as soon as I turned on the call, this is what I saw.
I am.
So yeah, hopefully we don't have to even bring it into Premiere unless Jimmy says something that we need to cut out. Which please, please
Probably
don't.
is gonna happen.
Please.
I'm saying I'm calling it right now. By the end of this, I'm gonna say something terrible that needs to be. I'm gonna say Channel 9's real name and personal address.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, the show must go on. It's going up.
Shout out to Channel 9 Production.
Gonna start hearing his doorbell ring. Well, today, and this is recorded on 8/3/2023. Just to give a little rundown of what the QQC Pod schedule is, we're gonna try and have an episode out every other week. But we're doing it a little differently from what I've ever seen anyone do podcasts like. So it might be a little confusing.
Off the books for this one. This is completely we're in our uncharted territory right now.
So like a few months ago, we started recording the podcast. We were like, "Oh, this will be great." So once the channel comes out, we'll have a backlog that we can just use. And then we realized like, oh, all of this is going to be behind, so we won't be able to address like anything current going on with the channel or with the world in general. It'll all like, so what we decided is pretty much all of the ones that we recorded are going to come out, but it's just going to be staggered. So it's like this time you get a fresh one hot off the grill, you know, and then next time you get an old one, new one, old one, new one, old one. So
technically, I think this is the first episode, which is crazy because it feels weird because we've been doing these for like a while. But yeah, we're probably gonna upload this like what, tomorrow or tonight if possible.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, might as well. It's gonna be up there, but I think we also I'd like not to put people off this. The people who are gonna watch this, it's like the old episodes. We at the time I think did our best to make at least some of them like not necessarily rooted in what's going on currently.
Yeah.
Right. As we all know, the present is ever fading and practically non-existent, and there is no now, only then and later. Every instance we exist brings us closer to our own demise. But the point is, there's still some fun stuff. We got some good topics that we discussed. I think we did a whole, maybe 1 or 2 episodes about different kinds of animation in like animated movies. We did one about Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Remember the Rankin Bass episode?
We ranked Bass.
Yeah, we ranked the Rankin Bass movies.
Yeah, that was a very fun episode for me. Yeah, but today, I think I had a couple ideas of what we could talk about. I think some of the main things is just kind of like, hey, what's the experience been so far in getting this channel up and running? You know, this is a very like interesting time for the channel, being like, oh, this new thing is, you know, has just come out. We just finished the first project that's on the channel. We're working on the first couple projects that are going to be on the channel. We've been working on the branding and everything.
I think
what's that been
it's
like so
interesting.
far?
Well, I think it's interesting because it's like this is kind of like like a soft launch almost, where it's like, originally there were like big. I think in my mind at least there was like a
Hmm.
more of a grandiosity to it
Yeah,
all, where it's like, oh, we're gonna start a new channel, and then
yeah,
as time went on, we were working on the projects. Reality kind of sinks in, and it's like what is changed here? It's just we
yeah.
got a new place to upload stuff together that we've been making, but we've also been making stuff for the past like 6 months or
Right.
however long, specifically for this and not uploading
Yeah,
it, right? So it's weird because it doesn't necessarily feel like a beginning, but it's also not. It's not like a grand event because it's gonna be a slow
yeah,
transition. It's gonna take a while to like get an audience besides like our friends and people from the old channel, and it's going to be an interesting thing to get them to like transition over to
right.
this new thing.
It's gonna look real
um
depressing for a little while.
sure, yeah, depressing, but that's the thing, because I mean, I don't know, I don't want to hog this too much, but I did have an interesting thought, and I'm feeling a little
Hmm.
more introspective today, uh about art in general, and I think I mentioned this a while ago to you, but it's like this isn't like we're not making art to service the channel, right?
Hmm.
Like we're making a channel to service our like need to make art.
Right.
Whatever it is, fun little projects or whatever. It's like a dumping ground or like an outlet for all of this stuff, and it's like yeah, of course we're making it for the channel, but it's like the channel is the reason, or the motivator, or the wider reasoning for like making it.
Yeah.
It's an excuse to make like neat, fun shit,
Right.
and sometimes it'll be like easy and cool and silly, or sometimes it'll be serious and it'll take like months and months of shit, and like the other thing too is we're both learning like
Hmm.
through doing this. Like I'm not a professional,
Right. Nor am I.
um in any means, and like I don't know if either of us really want to be like YouTubers necessarily.
Right.
Like I don't think it's about the
Not like
personality,
not like
you know.
YouTuber proper, or like the um not. I mean, YouTube is a good outlet, I think, and a good like tool for like bringing people together, creating an audience, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
the kind of concept of YouTuber or like influencer comes with a certain like grossness to me, of like, oh, like in every video you gotta play the game, and you gotta
Yeah.
be like, everybody like and subscribe, punch that notification bell,
Yeah, and I
and
don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though.
yeah,
I don't think it's like a bad, like, that's, whether or not it's good or bad content is something that's kind of relegated to personal choice or
yeah,
personal preference. Like anything else, it's an art form. It's like making a commercial. Like
right,
you wouldn't necessarily compare like an independent filmmaker to like you know, uh, a commercial crew or whatever
hmm,
who are like actually filming ads or whatever. Like it's a different art form. It's a different art form
right,
completely. If you want to call it an art form. And I mean, I can speak for myself, but I'm like, and I don't want to, it's like I'm the kind of guy who like just doesn't like playing by the rules, and
hmm.
not in like a cool rebel way, like, yeah, I want you fuck the system. That's like a sad thing. It's like a sad thing that I can't just be like, sure, I can do the thing how you're supposed to do it. I'm like,
Absolutely.
my I can't do it. Not in it. I need to be fucking. It's real. It's like I got fucking Holden Caulfield syndrome. It's like everyone's a phony, and I'm in search of meaning and genuineness, and now I'm like screaming into the void publicly
Yeah.
wearing fucking sunglasses in my apartment. Like this is what this is. You guys are in for some fucking weird shit. If you're watching it, you already know. You're not looking
Yeah.
for fucking mainstream content.
That's
This is
true.
like two fucking guys making stuff sometimes. Whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
gonna
I
be
mean,
fun. It's gonna be
yeah.
sick.
I think I really relate to the. I mean, especially certain like uh, being kind of neurally atypical and stuff. Of like, it's not just that like I mean, there's a part of me that, on a moral level, I'm like, no, I don't want to engage with the system in the way that the system wants me to engage with it. But it's also like from a actual like my ability to do that. I feel like I burn out so quick if I'm trying to do
Yeah.
things from the standpoint of like I need to feed this machine, I need to play by the rules. It's like you said is not necessarily completely like a cool thing of
No, it's
like
not.
I'm
Yeah, it's
completely
not
too
cool.
good for it. It's like I don't think I
We
could.
can't.
Yeah, I
I
don't
fucking
think I
can't.
could.
Like, cause there are guys who do it well and
Yeah.
do it like ethically or whatever, and still play by the rules of the system without compromising anything. A lot of the and like I don't know, this is gonna be a lot of. I've already done it in the past episodes, so I just shout out random fucking people that I'm watching who do already have an audience, but like fucking if you don't go support them because they rock. But like
Yeah.
guys like In Praise of Shadows on YouTube or fucking Ryan Hollinger, and these are like
Mm.
horror movie, reviewers or analysts. Um, and they're brilliant guys, and they make great videos, and they like say such poignant things. Or like I fucking love Breadsword. I
Yeah,
love
Red Sword's
Breadsword
great.
so much. Like Breadsword's videos are like art. Like
Yeah.
just it is a movie in and of itself. They're the best fucking like personal documentary style essays or essay style documentaries or whatever. Like it's good. It's good shit and it's valid and it's art. And I wish I had the tenacity to make shit like they make. And maybe that's something I can work towards. But where I'm at now, like like you were saying, I don't think I would be able to play that game, be a part of that machine or whatever
Right.
of making YouTube content. It's crazy.
But
And
like
like
if you ever
props to anyone who
want
does it.
to like if you ever want to experiment with that medium, this is like a cool space to be able to be like I can do that without it being like the expectation that I have to do that every month or else I'm not getting groceries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And
the
that's
goal
not
of this
great for
channel
views
is
and shit,
to
but
yeah.
whatever.
Like the goal of this channel is hopefully to create a bubble or um, like a little margin between the kind of market what am I thinking of like market forces and the actual like creation of the art because that's like the biggest I think one of the biggest conflicts I've seen just like looking at biographies of artists and stuff and just in general is like it's it's not really super compatible um, with the current economic systems of the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty difficult to make a living, and as much as that's a trope, and it's also like you can definitely find jobs. I think more and more like there's going to be less and less like careers in art soon because a lot of that's getting automated away like
No,
this
definitely.
editing.
But but I think also the thing to realize is that like the purpose of art is not necessarily to make something that's easily commodifiable or like
Right.
commodi is that a word
Yes,
commodifiable
I believe so.
commoditize
Oh yeah.
commodify that's the word. Fuck, I think I still could be wrong. I'm not very smart. uh, the point is, it's like, and I was talking to like a friend about this. Shout out to my friend M if she ever watches this. Uh, don't blame me if you don't watch it either. But the point is, we were talking a while ago about like the link between art and community, and like they're an experimental artist. Like they do experimental like noise music.
Sure.
I'm not. I don't think I can entirely represent it accurately or but it's like extreme avant-garde, free improvisation music.
Yeah.
So it's very loud and noisy and chaotic and like personally, I don't think I would have. They just did like a 24-hour like perpetual open session, right, where people could come in and register for time slots, and
Oh,
they
that's
would
really cool.
improvise noise with each other, and they'd be shouting and like screaming disjointed poetry, and it's like very avant-garde shit.
Yeah,
It's like very out there, and it's definitely not for everyone,
that sounds
but
sick.
it's fucking weird. And like
I
I'll
feel
be
like I couldn't
completely
be there
honest.
the whole time, that's for sure. But I could
Yeah,
definitely enjoy it as a concept, and I could enjoy it in pieces.
like I would go for my friend, but I would also probably have several panic attacks
Yeah,
and then promptly leave.
yeah,
Uh, it's not for, but it's hardcore. It's hardcore, and it's like to them, also to the performers, they describe it as like a almost spiritual kind of experience because it's like you're putting everything into this one thing, this one aspect of performance, and you're
sure.
completely free. And it's like, again, not for everyone. It sounds a little pretentious. I get it. It's fucking weirdo shit, but like weirdo shit makes people really really happy. And when you get a weirdo bunch that are like all connected to this one thing that is so liberating and positive and communal, it's like I think this is some hippy dippy stuff as well. I am completely aware, but like art, I think, is about community, and I think that's the thing that makes it important, even if nobody else in the fucking world cares. Like, it's not for everyone else. If it's not for everyone
Right.
else, it's not for them. But if someone else digs it, then it's like sick. And even if they don't, if we dig doing it and it's not, harming anyone, in many respects, I think it's improving aspects of our lives. It improves aspects of my life to be able to work on projects, whether it be music with you or doing storyboarding for animations that eventually come out, or a combination of the both, where we've got music that we've worked on together and we're combining it with animations we're storyboarding, and then you're gonna animate, which is a thing that's happening. Stay tuned this October for some cool ass shit. It's been
Yeah,
like what, a year and a half in the making. It's fucking
longer than
wild.
that.
Yeah,
Because
longer than
because
that. Oh
I
man.
suck at writing sometimes.
It's fucking hard, dude. It's hard, but like again, we're not fucking pros. We do
Yeah,
this in our spare time. It's fun.
but we do
It's
write
like,
prose.
shut the fuck up. Get your ass out of here, man.
You know, there's been multiple times in this podcast where I've held back puns. I can only do it for so long.
Oh man, it's good for bits. You gotta let them out. Even if it annoys me, I'll take it. It doesn't actually annoy me, by the
I
way.
know.
I think they're funny.
Um, yeah, I think the how I've kind of started seeing it is like art is about kind of um, the human experience, I guess. Whether that's like um, something of like connecting, like with other humans, or if it's just like examining yourself through that lens. You know what I mean? So like you could make art without anybody seeing it if you really liked it, and it would still be like super valid. You know, but I think I really like the feeling of connecting with other people through art, especially since through a lot of my life I feel like that's been a difficult thing for me, connecting with other people. So like there's a part of it that like I try to ignore, like um when you think of like views or like comments or like subscribers or whatever, and you're like obsessed with that metric, I feel like that's unhealthy. But also, those numbers do represent people taking the time to engage with what you're making, which feels really good and is honestly like a bigger motivator to me to make art than I'd like to admit a lot of the time. But it's not like number go up make me happy, but it's like
No, it's
um,
about what the number represents,
yeah, like if
right?
everybody was watching it but they didn't get it or they didn't enjoy it, then that would suck. But like if even like a few people watched it, but they're like, yes, this is like I relate to this in some way, then that's all I want, really.
But I think that's like, I think for me anyway, that's like a shift in the mindset that I need to like make in myself and work towards making. Because I know that logically, it's just hard to apply that to my own life and really like see the value in somebody else caring about what I make, right? Because for the longest time, it's like I don't release a lot of the stuff I make, or I
Hmm.
haven't, thus far. Maybe some stuff with Dead Raven Records I've done at this
Yeah.
point, and it's like a little bit, but like everything I've released under Dead Raven Records, uh, has like a tinge of irony to it, and
Yeah.
it's like a it's a wall, it's a mask, but it's still putting myself out there. It just I
Like
find it
wearing
very hard to be
like wearing
honest.
sunglasses on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll let out some of your inner thoughts, but you can't let them see in.
No, I can't let them know what I'm really thinking and feeling. But it's different too because it's like I think what I've been missing a lot in my life is like uh, opening myself up to this feeling of like vulnerability, and I think that's a lot of what art is like. Regardless of the quality, I think, or like what I make, I think the thing I'm after, the thing I'm chasing is some sort of vulnerability or some sort of like openness or connectivity, because it's like
Hmm.
I don't communicate with a lot of people. Like I
Yeah.
don't communicate my feelings to a lot of people, and that's difficult, and so I need an outlet for that. But even with that outlet, there's so much shit surrounded around it, like in whether it's the culture around music, or ideals I have about music, where it's like I need to be uh I need to be something. I need to follow some sort of archetype of
Hmm.
like coolness, but also detachment, but
Yeah.
also pure brutal honesty. It's like you can't do all of these things.
Right.
You can't, and I'm so preoccupied with like what it means to be an artist, or what it means to be a figure in that community, that it's like I don't even need to worry about that because no one's gonna see my shit. All I have to do is make something that like fucking matters, right? To
Yeah.
me, something that's like just anything. And it's, I don't know, it's an odd feeling, um striving for that kind of like connectivity, or vulnerability with people. And I think it's like, like you were saying, it's like it's not like number goes up and that's what brings you happiness. It's about like making those connections and seeing like, does somebody like this? Does somebody get something? Have I made someone's day better, or
Yeah.
like given them something new to think about, or like just fucking anything, anything.
Speaking of which, I think by the time this podcast comes out, we might have the Discord up and running, baby. So y'all can start creating a community in there. We might have some cool events. I didn't mean for that to sound like I'm doing an ad read, but
That
legitimately.
felt very much like a very disturbed person being like, "Here's my soul, my deepest insecurities. I just want someone to see me, but I'm afraid." And then Nooney's like, "Fucking yeah, like and subscribe, baby.
Oh
Smash that like
no.
button, dog.
I
Join the
felt.
club. Maybe you can maybe get a little bit close to us,
Yeah.
your parasocial heroes." Yeah, basically, you're starting a cult.
Yeah. No, in my mind, when I was about to say that, I'm like, this is pertinent to the conversation. This is about creating a community. We're gonna like, we're gonna do things in this Discord server. We're gonna make things, and there's gonna be events and stuff. It's like, this is the same conversation. And then when I started to say it, the YouTuber voice started to kick in. I'm like, listen, guys, you got. uh,
That's part of it,
yeah.
though. That's part of the
I'm
game. It's like it's
horrified by
impossible.
myself.
When you exist in like a marketplace, and this is like, oh yeah, fucking
Mhm.
socialism or whatever. But like when you exist in like a capitalist fucking landscape, it's like everything is a commodity, and so when you bring up a thing, yeah, of course it's gonna sound like you're selling a fucking
Right.
commodity because that's what we're doing. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like with anything else in life, you can still do shitty things as long as you acknowledge, hey, I'm doing a shitty thing. You become self-aware, and no one can blame you. That's how it works, right?
The Discord is free, just for it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a fun place to hang out and then groom you into buying our merch when that comes out.
Don't say groom. Don't listen. We're not grooming anybody in the Discord. I fucking swear to God. Okay, sunglasses off. No grooming is happening here. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, I think most people on
We
Discord.
gotta get an HR department, man.
I think most people who administrate on Discord don't groom themselves.
Okay, good save. Sorry, man. How long have we been recording?
We have been recording for 30 minutes, and I'm not going to
on
cut
the
that
dot?
out, baby, because
Don't cut that out.
I'm not doing any editing this episode. I need a break. They hear all of this.
Do you have something to talk about? This is really unprofessional, but I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh my god. Okay, I will talk about things while you go relieve yourself.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Shameful. Well, while we're here all alone, I just realized that that the shadow of my microphone was on my face and must have made me look quite strange. Anyways, yeah, how would you rate this podcast experience? 5 stars, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a comment with a highly detailed review of the entire episode and how a play-by-play of how you were feeling throughout. Give that a try, and we will consider your feedback. To level for a second here. Oh, he's back. Heyo.
I'm back, baby. What'd I miss?
Just more, more YouTuber shilling.
Of course.
No, I was just leveling with the viewer and being like, how would you rate your experience with this episode? Give a detailed comment with a play-by-play. So, we started the channel. It's up. We made the logo. We made the banner. And we made the Input Entropy anniversary kind of remix type thing. Do you want to talk about what our kind of experience has been with that so far? Kind of like what have been some hurdles working together? Because we have been working together for a while, but we haven't started something like this before that has this is like a partnership. We're working on something, so
Yeah, I mean, since the get-go, it's been interesting because it's a lot of little things, and the whole process has kind of been like chipping away at different stones, right? We've had these different projects that we've been working on that little by little, it's like we're working towards, and like I was kind of talking about earlier, it's like it's weird to do this kind of like soft launch thing because it in a way it finally feels real. That we're making something, and it's like we're putting it out there, and like now things will be finished, and like this is our first taste of like finishing something together, and then like it being complete and it being a thing, and now it's out in the world. And it's also kind of weird to talk about the channel itself that way, but like you and I have had tons of talks about it. We've had meetings about it. We've had like talks about the channel's motivation and like our ethos and like what we stand for and what we're trying to do. And it's like a lot of conceptual talk for a thing that until now wasn't really tangible.
right.
But the more that we've chipped away at things. Like, full disclosure, re-input entropy, all of the audio was recorded about a year ago.
So
Like
long ago,
exactly a
yeah.
year ago.
Was it really
It's
a
been
year? Oh
it
man.
was last summer. It was last summer when we like started that
Oh yeah, because we were gonna
process, and it
release
started
it
with Spell My
last
Name.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna release it last summer, and then it was like, no way we can do like video portions for all of this shit. And
Right.
so, you know, better finish it than release it half-assed. And I
Right.
think still it came down to a crunch. Like still it came down to like a last minute kind of
Yeah.
dash at on both of our parts.
And
Um,
even then, it
and I
came
think
out one day later than the anniversary.
Fuck. So we still fucked up. We
Yeah,
still
but
fucked
like
up.
nobody cared except for us about it being specifically on the day of the anniversary. I bet no we I bet nobody noticed that, oh, this is an
No.
anniversary thing. They're just like, "Oh, okay. They're doing the album again."
Yeah.
So,
Seriously, yeah.
I think there's certain things that we can kind of build up in our heads of like harsh deadline, this has to be done at this time, but like really that's all, most of that's internal unless we announce it, you know? Um, but personally, this is a problem that I've always had, and I assume just by working with you too, and I don't know if this is just my effect on you or if this is something that you've experienced as well on your own, but that is always how projects end up. Is like, okay, we have a very ambitious idea, but in our minds, it's like, oh, we can totally do that. Like, it's going to be hard, but we can totally do that. And then we work on it a little bit and then get distracted and like, oh, what about this thing? And we work on that little
Yeah.
thing, and then we work on another little thing, and then we come back to it, and we're like, oh shoot, we got to get this done in like 2 weeks. It's like,
Yeah, seriously, yeah. But it's interesting because it's like it feels like every project is that way. For me, it does.
mhm.
I agree. But the problem is, it's like, you know, I don't know if it doesn't feel like the case for other artists or like in general because it's like I don't like what I'm exposed to in terms of the art and the media that I consume is stuff that's made by people who are, you know, for lack of a better term, they are playing that game and they are
Yeah,
holding themselves to
they're
deadlines and they are
consistent.
like they're consistent because they fucking have to be because they're making a
Right,
living
that's
off
why
of
you've
this.
heard of them. It's because
Yeah,
they've been
exactly.
consistent. Yeah,
Exactly. So it's
and lucky.
hard to like it's hard to be like, okay, so we're kind of doing the same thing, but for our own like the sake of our own mental health and physical health and like lives and just based on our capacity to do things and our limitations, it's like this is kind of how it's got to be. Like
Right.
and it's okay because it's like that for a whole bunch of other people who
Yeah.
just make shit. Like we're not holding ourselves to that standard because it's like why fucking bother? I don't
Right.
want to. Like I don't want to hold myself to that standard even because like we're not striving for the same thing. I don't think
hmm
we're trying to get successful in the sense of like in the market of the YouTube community. We're not trying to
hmm
do that. Um in fact, I think both of us are kind of banking on this not being successful or financially lucrative. We're just doing it to do it because we want to do it. Like we
Yeah.
both have jobs. Maybe someday.
I mean, yeah. It
Maybe
in
someday.
my mind is like, sure, that's been like something that I've wanted for years of my life. Like I've wanted to be able to make art and have that art uh, pay for more art. You know, like that's always like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm I wouldn't hope for that to happen, you know, but also like I think in order to actually continue to make things, I can't play the game in the way that other people do. Um, and I've kind of, through, therapy and just kind of figuring stuff out about myself and like everything, and getting diagnosed with ADHD and stuff. Um, like I've kind of further realized and kind of figured out for myself that in the past, like when I've tried to do things how other people do them, by the rules, by the standard, it doesn't work out very well. And if it does work out, it's not for long. So, like, if I want to build any sort of career or anything, or even not even a career, or even just like getting projects done and stuff, I need to build from scratch based on how my brain works a way to get that thing done, or else it's not going to get done. So, in my mind, it's like I agree with you in the sense of like we're not going to play that game in the same way that other people do, but also in the back of my head, I'm like, well, I also I also would like to like not actively shun the possibility of success. You know,
Oh
like
no, 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 no,
like
no,
we're
no.
gonna do
Yeah.
some kind of like marketing type things of like, oh, we're gonna do like YouTube shorts based on, you know, clips from the podcast, or we're gonna, you know, like I don't want to. I feel like I would be a little bit disingenuous to be like, uh, we're not going to make any effort to find success in
No, no, no.
this realm.
Like also I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to look at this channel like I'm shooting a horse before I put a saddle on it. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're not already giving up. We're not being like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna do whatever I want, fucking whenever. And if it doesn't get done, it doesn't fucking matter anyway because nothing matters. And we're never gonna make it. And the system's fucking rigged, man. And two white guys can't catch a fucking
Oh
break.
no. Oh no. And
No.
that's what he's
Uh,
not saying. just,
I'm not
just
saying that. No, for the record, I'm not saying that. But like, yes, if we can do it on our terms and in our way, like, of course, I want this to be like successful in
yeah.
the sense that it like builds a community and like is kind of capable of sustaining us, right? Like, I want this to be like a self-fulfilling thing. Like
Yeah.
it's like we put work into this so that we can keep doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I want that to be also open to other people as well if they want to be a part of it in
Right.
whatever sense, if it's watching it or if it's like helping us and like adding to it and being a part of it. It's like, yeah, I want to make a fucking community. Like, I want more like cool weirdo people to hang out with, and I want to see more cool things
Yeah.
that like I know the person who fucking made it, and it's
Right.
like I can talk to them and I can get excited with them about their thing, and it's like that's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, and like a certain like a critical mass of like success, I guess, would be like being able to continuously make art ourselves, but also like the possibility of bringing on more people and creating that opportunity for people who otherwise wouldn't get that opportunity, and like actively try to make a space for other people to make like passion projects and stuff that like may or may not make any sort of profit or any sort of like virality or anything. I think in my mind, the way that I want to try and do it, because I know this is a lot of talk of like here's all of these grand ideas that we want to do, but also there's this weird thing of like reconciling with the market and like how does all that like play together, you know? And that's always going to be the struggle. Now, I've been very upfront with you, Jimmy, that like on I said this a while ago, but I also said this recently. Like sometimes I'm gonna play devil's advocate for like the studio exec mindset of like
Mm-hmm.
what's is there any like small thing that we could do or tweaks that we could do or like a slight influence into like the deciding of what kind of shows we want to make that would make it more likely to be successful, because I think that force is useful if only to fight against, like
Yeah.
if you don't have that force in your kind of creative company, then I think there's a certain I don't know, there's a freedom, but also it's like there's something nice about having like this is what we're supposed to do, and this is what our creative vision is. Now we're always going to side with the creative vision part of it, but if it doesn't make any difference to our creative
Yeah,
vision, whether or not we change this thing or we make this extra show that like is in a format that works better with the market, then we can make those decisions. But I think
for sure. Because
yeah.
there's no reason why we can't use that. Why we can't use that, like, either whether it be marketing strategies or like curated content or like doing something that is like proven to work.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to do that if we're also, like you said, not sacrificing our like artistic integrity or our creative vision or whatever. And like that all sounds also very like self-aggrandizing to have an artistic vision when we're just like two fucking schmucks. But it's like I don't know, man. Like I still do. Like I
Yeah.
still give a shit about the stuff that I want to make. Like it's just about like what we want to do, what makes us feel good, and what makes us feel bad,
Right.
and not doing as much of the things that make us feel bad, and doing more of the things that make us feel good. And yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong or like morally or
Mhm.
even like artistically or whatever about making fucking YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or TikToks.
Right.
Like there's nothing wrong with taking our clips and putting it out there because it's like shit, man. If someone else is gonna hear it, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Why not put it out there?
Because it's all it's yeah it's a very nuanced thing that I think a lot of people just like take one side of is like, no, I'm gonna be like hyper capitalist, I'm gonna like play the game super hard and whatever it takes I'm gonna make it, or like fuck the system, man, I'm not gonna like I'm actively going to do everything to uh not succeed in this system because the system sucks, which like yeah, the system sucks, but um like from the nuanced perspective of like, hey, what's going to actually be more likely to give us the outcome of being able to support ourselves and support other artists and make more art is like there's a give and take there, there's a push and pull there, you know.
Yeah,
So that's my
completely
perspective
agree.
on it.
Excuse me.
Was
Yeah,
there
it's
anything? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go. You go.
No, I was just gonna say, is there anything, since this is the one that's either coming out today or tomorrow, is there anything super recent or uh, super close in the future that we want to tease or bring to light, just as far as the channel, what maybe our plans are? We did tease a little bit of a October thing, but there's something a little sooner um,
Yeah.
on the
Oh
horizon
yeah.
as well.
Well, so if you are from the old channel, Nunican TV, that's what it was called, right?
Yep, it's changed to Nunican now, and it's gone brown.
It's gone brown. Okay, so that's Nunican, right?
Yeah,
And that's your old channel with all your old content. And this here right now is the Nunican Network.
absolutely.
Okay.
Nunican TV
So
does not exist.
it's gone. It's over. That era has ended.
Yeah.
We're ushering in a new era, a new aeon of chaos and madness and infernal luxury and you know it's gonna be great. So basically, if you're a fan of that old channel, then you'll know about the extravaganzas that my boy Noonie has done almost every year for several different seasons, different occasions. There's a winter holiday one. I think how many winter extravaganzas are there?
One.
Just the one. Okay, then there's the two Halloween
Mm-hmm.
ones, which I still rewatch all the fucking time. And what were the other ones?
There's only one other one, and it's the summer one. I think the main ones that people rewatch are the fall ones, because those ones seem to like capture the vibe as much as possible. Like they really have a clear like nostalgia factor, and like it really taps into something. At least that's what I've felt, and that's what other people have said. Um,
Yeah,
the thing
but
that
these
we're
extravaganzas.
releasing next is one that we've only done one extravaganza for before, um, and it's not the winter one. So you can deduce you can deduce from there. It's the summer one,
Yeah, we
and
ain't
I think we're
got
gonna
no
do it
goddamn
justice.
springtime extravaganza. We ain't got
Not
no
this year.
springtime bullshit. Fuck Easter. Fuck Easter. Fuck. There's still snow on the ground. I don't give two shits about your fucking pink eggs and your purple flowers. Fuck springtime. Nah, all my boys love August and fucking October and January and shit. Those are the only good times.
Yeah. So
Who the fuck gives two shits about March? I'm sorry, I'm going off.
take a lap. Take a lap. It's gonna beat the shit out of spring. Jeez. Um, I think that this is going to be almost on par, if not better than the fall ones. It is pretty short notice, so maybe it won't be as elaborate. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to get. Um, we're definitely going to do better than we did last time for the summer extravaganza, and that's no diss on the editing work by our good friend Nunican 2, Ryan of Nunican 2. He did a great job with the short time, but there just wasn't a lot of planning that I did to make it as extravagant as the fall ones, and there wasn't as much variety as there could have been. So we really want to have the proper variety show. I'm really excited. I think it's going to go pretty well. We do need to probably get working on it a bit more
Yeah, there's
soon
a few more things.
because we want to get it done mid-August, if not late August. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That's the next thing other than the pod.
Can we talk about some of the segments or the things involved in the extravaganza, or do we want to keep that more of a surprise?
You can choose one to mention. I don't want to tease too much, just in case, because we haven't done
Should
the
I
final
talk about
cuts yet.
should I talk about a thing that might not happen?
Something that might not happen, sure,
Yeah.
but
If it's not a,
just make sure that the audience knows that it might not be in there.
Okay. Well, eventually, one of the plans for a show that we've had on this channel, and I think we've talked about it in one of the pre-recorded episodes as well, um, was I wanted to do a wrestling show.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and it's fallen off. Like, we haven't done it in a while, but I think it's got I mean, it holds such a special place in my heart, and we've been thinking about it for so long. I just gotta figure out a way to, like, do it right and put it together. But we talked about this time doing maybe like a 5 to 10 minute segment, just like as a proof of concept or a teaser, and I think that's manageable. So that you might be seeing that, but originally I used to have, or I mean, I guess I still have WWE 2K22 or 21 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so far, it's kind of a tradition. We've made a bunch of silly, goofy custom wrestlers, um, and they're very silly. It's very much inspired by Vine Wrestle. Joel on from Vine Sauce, and, like, Germ has done a similar thing.
I've not seen either of these, so I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, it's like, people. It's a thing that people do when they make their own, like, um, matches with, like, the person's, like, inside jokes and memes and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like those characters are, like, fighting each other, and it's silly, goofy fun, and it's like the WWE 2K games are garbage and super buggy and extremely glitchy, and that's gonna be a component of it because we've just had so much fun in calls, uh, watching this shit go down. Genuinely, some of my happiest moments. This might be a little sad. Some of my favorite moments of my entire life come from playing that fucking game. Um, when Mongo won the Error Championship, he won the Royal Rumble, and then the game crashed and blue screened. And
Hell
this is
yeah.
right when the game came out. So we made a belt in
eighty
game that's
dollars.
the Error Champion. $80. It costs fucking $80. That goddamn game. It's insane, and it doesn't work. So
A
we've
hundred
got a lot of fun
dollars.
characters.
You just gotta keep going up each time we mention it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The plan is to like turn it into a whole thing with its own lore and its own like story beats, and like the characters are real people, and
Yeah.
like the plan is to add voice acting, and like each of us is like a different announcer, and
I
like
think it's gonna be really fun to do that.
it's gonna be a good time. So
Like,
we'll
it's
see if we
mostly
can do that.
improv, but there's a little bit of writing. I love doing those types of projects. Where it's like you have a little bit of an idea of like what you're going for, but most of it is like thinking on your toes, coming up with dumb jokes and stuff. And we did record like at least one. I remember I was in one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And
In
that
fact,
was really
we might
fun.
be able to cobble that together and have our first little thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, the eventual plan is like if it all works out, the dream is to do that as like a weekly show
Oh,
and
okay.
have pay-per-views, and I mean, it's not feasible, but my dream would be to do this as if it was a real wrestling
Oh,
show,
okay.
and book it properly, and like because I'm a huge huge fucking wrestling nerd. It's insane. I could do a whole fucking series
That's
of
that's the fun thing about this for me is like I do not care about wrestling much. I watched a couple video essays about wrestling and stuff, and I'm like,
Oh,
that's
did you watch
pretty
the Super Eye
interesting.
Patch
I
Wolf
did,
ones?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
those
did
are
after
fucking
you
sick,
recommended them.
right?
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool, but like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if I didn't get into it like growing up and stuff, it hasn't taken root enough to where I could get into it now. Which is fine with me, but you know what this sounds like I'm this sounds like I'm downplaying that I'm actually like really excited about this series, but like it's interesting for me to see this as like this is almost my introduction to watching wrestling is this like fictionalized more fictionalized
Yeah,
uh
in the stupidest way possible.
yeah.
In a sport that is already incredibly
And
so
now people are
fucking
pissed off
stupid.
with the scare
Yeah. Yeah.
quotes.
Listen, wrestling is fucking stupid. It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's genius. It's art. It's dance. It's theater. But it's fucking dumb.
It's silly.
And anyone who can't acknowledge that just is missing the point. It's not supposed to be smart. It can be. It can be interesting. The saga of the Golden Lovers, I think in Ring of Honor or New Japan, I forget where it was, but one of the greatest stories ever fucking told, and I'm dead serious. Undertaker throwing fucking Mankind off the Hell in a Cell. That is a seminal moment in American popular culture. In
The
North American
entirety
popular
of
culture.
Mankind?
No, he
Jeez.
was a guy. His name is Mick Foley. He's kind of pudgy and has a nice beard and is missing a few teeth.
Oh, is
He's
this
a
like
very
in
cool
the Buzz
guy.
Aldrin sense of like is
No,
he's
that was his
representing
wrestling
he was
name.
representing mankind.
Well, kind of. No, because he just his character was named Mankind, and he wore a funny mask that was like, oh, because he was all kooky and weird. And sometimes he had a sock puppet that was just a gym sock, and he'd put it on his hand, and it had a little face on it. He
I
put
like
the
that.
sock in
I
his
like
hand.
that.
It was in his crotch, and so halfway through the match, when he's really sweaty, he pulls
Oh.
it out, and he puts it on his hand.
I like that
And
less.
he does his finishing move, the mandible claw, and he sticks his hand in the other guy's mouth, and he goes and it makes the guy pass out for some reason, probably partially due to the
Because of
smell.
stank, yeah.
In kayfabe, yeah, kayfabe.
But yeah, the thing that like, you know, also one of my kind of hopes for Nunican Network in the future is, at least for some series or some, like events even or like extravaganzas or something. I'm not sure to what level this will encapsulate the channel because I think there's a lot of room for a lot of different things being on the channel. But I do really like the idea of playing into the kind of TV parody, TV homage thing. So like, there's definitely a world where like having a um, having streams that are almost like alternate reality, like um, if you tuned into like in the early 2000s and this was actually a wrestling thing on TV with like the commercials and everything in it, that would be pretty cool.
That would
Um,
be amazing. Yeah, I mean that's also like a big that's like my like autism special interest, I guess. But it's like yeah, retro TV,
yeah,
retro film, like like I used to fall asleep watching compilations of like Halloween commercials or Christmas commercials, depending on the season.
absolutely.
Most of the time out of season, but like and unfortunately, I think I gotta give credit where credit is due. A lot of that is due to um, Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic.
You gotta get that mention in our last like
Yeah.
minute of the podcast.
I need to shout out my obsession, my muse, Doug Walker. I need to shout him out because he does his nostalgic commercials series where he watches
I
commercials
gotta shut this
and
down.
yeah, I'll stop.
No,
I
that's
love you,
okay.
Doug. I hate you, but I love you.
um, well, we made it to an hour, and I think this was a good episode. I think it gives a good snapshot. Snap. Oh, geez, I'm having a stroke now. It gives a good snapshot of where we're at with the channel. This new kind of uncertain time here, where it was kind of like it was a gradual release. It wasn't a big event like maybe we had an idea for, but it's like we're working on so many things. It's hard to do deadlines. But anyways,
It's hard to do,
it's
and
just
also
it started
we're
now,
working on
so now we're
ourselves.
just doing it. So, um, yeah, it's a weird time for the channel, and I'm hoping that y'all will stick around. But if you don't stick around, someone else will. So,
Fucking A, man. I think it would be appropriate to end this podcast because I mean I feel like it's been a very candid talk. I think it's I think it's the most comfortable I felt doing one of these in terms of like talking about how how, how we both kind of feel. Uh,
nice.
and so I think it would be appropriate if we kind of like remove the veil of irony or like the mask that we are both hiding behind, and
Oh, absolutely.
we'll do a little yeah.
My eyes.
You have to say something, otherwise it's not gonna be
All right.
it's just me awkwardly
Hey,
revealing myself.
hey. Oh no, he's revealing himself. I gotta switch the camera quick. Good night, everybody.